Everybody to the ball! Castillo's in trouble. Weak steps in, and the fight is over. Towels coming from Dominic Ingle. Towels there from Dominic Ingle. Let's go. Stopped. Left off by Legend.
He's got his coffee. I don't even want
This
it
is
now.
Thomas Lancer Raps on TV, here for the press conference for Dillian Whyte, Oscar Rivas, ahead of July 20th show. Also on the bill, got Dave Allen and David Price in their heavyweight showdown. Fortunate to be joined by former middleweight champion, Darren Barker. I know I always introduce it like that, but it's good to also a bit of nostalgia.
I still can't believe it.
How are you anyway, Darren?
Yeah, well, thanks. Nice. All good, busy, but can't complain.
Yeah, coming down here, obviously a very kind of humbling press conference today. Oscar Rivas over with a very credible resume.
Yeah.
The next test in Dillian Whyte's career. As from looking out from the outside, I know you've got your focus on Dave Allen's on the bill.
Yeah.
What kind of do you expect from Oscar Rivas? Have you kind of potentially seen him?
Yeah, I remember him in the amateurs. I didn't, he was a heavyweight, so I didn't keep a great deal of concentration on him, but I know he can fight. He's a very good fighter. He comes with a lot of confidence, and to be honest, being the underdog, which he is, takes a lot of pressure off. So I'm expecting him to, turn up and make a very good fight at this.
Yeah, last time out of Dave Allen, Lucas Brown, very kind of good fight for Dave at that kind of phase of his career, former WBA world champion, and sort of assessing his performance. Touched on it with him, the public kind of demand, the excitement factor that carries over, no matter kind of what stage you are in your career at kind of heavyweight, especially with the whole sort of public demand, the way things accelerated. How impressed were you with Dave's performance? And what
Third round I was. I wasn't the first two because he didn't move his head as much as I wanted him to. When he started doing it, the openings present themselves here, and that's one of the main things. It's not just missing the shot; it's about you do it fast enough, the openings are there, and he just didn't do it in the first two rounds. But that's due to him being a slow starter. He just doesn't start quick. So that's another thing I want to get him doing. It doesn't necessarily have to be throwing loads of punches to be a fast starter. It's about switching on, finding your time and your distance early, and he'll have to do that against David because he can whack.
Yeah.
You heard it there. He'd love to be the first to knock Dave Allen out. So Dave's gonna have to be really, really switched on. And yeah, look, I was happy though. Yeah, I was happy with the victory.
Yeah.
Obviously, it was a massive win for Dave. You see what it meant to both of us, and it's nice when you're working on something, it actually comes off.
Yeah, and obviously David Price brings a sort of new set of attributes, the next progressive step in Dave's career, but also kind of having touched on those big fights with the likes of Dillian Whyte, and various other kind of tough fights that he's had with that kind of limited upper body elusive movement, maybe the head movement that you're looking to work on, obviously having the tutelage that you bring to camp. Is that kind of do you look at it as a detriment possibly in terms of stepping up to the kind of the elite
absolutely.
caliber?
The art of boxing is to hit and not be hit. Here he is, look. It's about hitting and not being hit. So therefore you need to be sharp and move your head, and that will be something I'll be working on for the next 11, 12 weeks, or however long it is. He's going to have to be on it. It's not about. I think one of the most important things in boxing is speed. Timing's huge, but you can't teach timing. But speed's crucial. And when I say speed, I don't just mean speed of punch. I mean speed of your footwork, your head movement. To be able to get out of range to miss shots, but also to get into range. You don't want to be arm's length for David Price, so you're going to have to be quick at getting close to him. Yeah. So it's going to be something we're working on.
Yeah, and obviously kind of topping the bill, Dillian Whyte again against Oscar Rivas, trying to solidify his position to get a mandatory spot. I know it's kind of all a bit of a mess at the moment with the heavyweight landscape, but even then, touching on Jarrell Miller's failed drugs test, what's your perspective on the kind of whole substance manipulation
Ban them
throughout
for
the
life.
sport?
Ban them for life, simple as that. When I was an amateur, you had a book about that fat with every banned substance in it. Mike Goodall does all the rings.
Yeah.
You had a big book with all the banned substances, and if you're unsure, you went in the book and you made sure you didn't put that substance in your body. So there's no excuses. Get this book, or get banned. Simple as that. Simple as that.
Do you think the regulatory bodies, perhaps the likes of VADA, while they need to kind of narrow their substance guidelines throughout the sport, the grassroots tiers?
Perhaps, you know, the logistics of it and the rules, etc. I'm not that up to date on, if I'm deadly honest with you, but quite simply, don't put any of that crap in your body. If you're unsure, look at the book and the governing bodies, or whatever it is, or whatever you want to call them.
Yeah.
They need to have tougher sentences. You know, if a fighter knows you're going to get banned for life, I'm pretty sure they'll think twice about doing it, because the punishment's so great. So ban them for life.
Yeah, and on the same night we had Terence Crawford defend his WBO welterweight title against Amir Khan. What was your take on the fight, and kind of where do you see Terence, particularly in terms of the 147-pound landscape at world level? The likes of Errol Spence, Sean Porter, Danny Garcia, all fights looming around.
Yeah, I'd love to see Spence, the Spence fight. I mean, what a fight that would be. There's a lot of respect there. I see a little argy-bargy there backstage a few months ago, was it a year ago or something like that, and you know, they respect each other, but it would be fireworks. I love that fight, I really do. I think Spencer's signed to fight Porter, is that right? So yeah, you have to get past Sean Porter, who we know is ferocious and doesn't stop throwing punches, but Crawford's win against Khan was good, and it was a solid performance up until the weird ending. You know, Khan done very well getting up after that heavy knockdown. When you see a fighter's leg buckle like Khan's do, they usually stay down, but he got up, so hats off to Khan. But it was a strange ending, but up until that ending, it was a good, solid performance.
Do you think there's sort of manner in terms of the way Amir lost